Guys, I'm smiling because we have another martial arts film, this one starring Mr. Scott Adkins. How did it turn out? Let's talk about it. My name is Brandon Keith Avery, and this is just my opinion. All right, guys, now we have Diablo being distributed by Lionsgate. It is rated R, coming in at 1 hour and 31 minutes, being described as martial arts, one-person army action and thriller. This is being directed by Mr. Ernesto Diaz Espinosa, and I've never heard of this man before, but this is what he looks like right here. If we scroll down and look at his filmography, he also directed Vencer o Morir, The Fist of the Condor, and Redeemer Santiago Valenta. I have not seen any of these. Now, when it comes to The Fist of the Condor, I believe that was released digitally on the Go USA or Well Go USA YouTube channel or Haya. I could be wrong. I tried to watch this. I think I watched maybe 5 or 10 minutes of it, and I don't think I was able to stick with it. I think it was the acting or the quality of the film. I mean, the trailer looked good, but I don't know. If he did direct this, I'm gonna give it another chance. And the reason why is maybe I did like this film Diablo, but if you are familiar with Mr. Ernesto Diaz Espinosa or any of his other work, please let me know down in the comment section below. Now, when it comes to my expectations for this film, they were super duper high because I love martial arts films and I'm a big fan of Mr. Scott Adkins. He is the main hero in this film that we are rooting for. If you look at this picture right here behind, it says Doctor Strange. He was one of the cult zealots that was fighting Doctor Strange as he was coming into his powers. If we scroll all the way down, I remember Scott Adkins all the way back, I think in like 2005 or 2006 with Indisputed Part 2. I remember the first time I saw that, I was in school watching it at the barbershop in Denton, Texas. Yeah, Indisputed number 2 with 2006. In 2006, that also had Michael Jai White. He was also in The Bourne Ultimatum, X-Men Origins Wolverine, Indisputed 3, The Expendables. I mean, it's just a ton of stuff that this man has been a part of as far as martial arts entertainment is concerned. He was also in Yip Man 4 with Donnie Yen. He was the villain in that one, and he was really cartoonish, like a cartoonist racist white supremacist. It was quite hilarious, his performance, other than the racism. But yeah, I mean, he was in John Wick 4. He was in The Killer's Game. All those films came out last year. So as far as action is concerned, you know, he's pretty up there, continuing to climb the ranks, and I am a big fan of Scott Adkins. So I was going to this expecting the most. I just wanted some kick-ass action with some good story, with a decent plot. It doesn't have to be too complicated, just something simple. And did I get that? Well, let's talk about it. So before I get into all the nitty-gritty, before I talk about all my likes and dislikes, let me tell you exactly what this film Diablo is all about. Chris Chaney, Scott Adkins, a recently released convict, embarks on a perilous mission. He kidnaps Elisa, daughter of Vicente, a powerful gangster, which puts them in danger from El Corvo, a psychopathic killer seeking revenge against Vicente's family. Seems like it's one of those, the enemy of my enemy is my friend type of movies, and I love those. Not too many people don't. But the first thing that I really did like about this film, guys, is one, it's short. You don't have to spend too much time watching this movie. If you just want something nice, quick, and entertaining, coming in at 1 hour and 30 minutes, this film is right up your alley. The next thing that I liked about this character is it is very easy to follow, and the plot continues to thicken every 20 to 30 minutes. Now, in an hour and 30-minute movie, that's not that many times, but when you think the film is going this way, and then there is a reveal, and then it goes another direction and continues to do that 3 or 4 times throughout the film, that just elevates the entertainment value of this film that much more and gets you to the edge of your seat more and more as the film progresses on. Another thing that I liked about this movie is I liked all of the characters. There was not one character in this film that I did not like, that I had a disdain for. Whether they was the heroes, the villains, the protagonists, the antagonists, or anywhere in between, everybody did a pretty good job, and that's really refreshing. Usually there's always one or two people to where you're like, oh my gosh, why are you being so stupid? Why did you have to write this character this way? No one would do this in real life or given this situation. If it was really going down, this writing stinks. That's not the case at all. I love the characters across the board. And not only did I love the characters, I also cared about them and their well-being. I did not want anybody to die. When people did die, I was sad. I was disappointed. I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to continue out my day? This character in this fiction movie just died. Exaggerating just a little bit there, but no, honestly, I really did care about the characters and wanted them to reach whatever goals they sought out in their life. Whether there was a waitress pouring coffee in the morning at the local diner for all of the patrons, or just a little girl that needs to reach her family and be around some loved ones that have the best interests at heart for her. Just going into the characters a little bit deeper, we have Alana de la Rosa right here. I've never heard of her before, but she was somewhat of a damsel in distress, but not entirely. I mean, she wasn't annoying and she was able to help herself some, but she did need rescue at times, but I did like her. Her name in the film was Elisa. She is the daughter that was kidnapped at the very beginning of this movie that I did reference when I was reading the synopsis. She had an attitude. She had a little fight to her, a little firecracker inside. But given the situation that she was in, I don't blame her. If I was in her shoes, I would be reacting the same way. We also have Mr. Lucho Velasco. I've never heard of this gentleman before, but he's somewhat of an antagonist, protagonist person in this film, but he's brutal. At the very beginning of these type of movies, they always have to have a scene to where they let you know how dangerous this person is, how much resources and powerful are they? What will happen if somebody double crosses this person? They did a great showcase of that. I was like, damn, if I'm on this payroll, I better not mess up. I better not have my shoes untied and make it to work 15 minutes before my shift, or I may get a bat upside my head, let alone if I lose a precious, valuable item of this character, Mr. Vicente. He's gonna be pissed and he's gonna take it out on my face, but I don't blame him either, given what he lost. Great character in the film. I liked him a lot as well. But also, guys, let's talk about the villain right here, Mr. Marko Zaror, okay? He has been in films with Scott Adkins before. I think he was also in Doctor Strange. He was in, let me just scroll down a little bit. I forgot, I thought I had it memorized. The Killer's Game, he was in that with Scott Adkins, and also John Wick Chapter 4. This is a really good villain right here. He was tall, he was swole, he can fight. He was just a big guy. And what I liked about his character is he could run around and rumble with all of them. And what I mean is he could punch, but he can kick. And that's just not too common in my experience with somebody that's like 6'5" or above. And I don't even know if he's that tall. It could be some type of camera magic or something like that. But I was very impressed, like, damn, this dude is tall as hell and is big and is able to do jump spin, tornado kicks and backspin kicks and side kicks and heel kicks and this kick and this punch and this dive and this duck. I was really impressed by him. I mean, he was a force to be reckoned with. And I was even more impressed with him as a villain than I was the Vicente character. This guy was scary. His introduction was fantastic. I was nervous. I was like, oh my gosh, is he going to shove this knife down this woman's throat? Not just a character, but a woman. Like, what type of person, I mean, like, just to murder a woman in cold blood that's doing nothing at all? It's like, why? I was nervous. First 15 minutes of this movie when they introduced this character, I was like, oh crap. Like, what are they gonna do? And they delivered the goods as far as him being a scary villain, that's somebody that you don't wanna cross. He's the type of guy to where if you're at your local gas station, sitting in your driver's seat and letting your car pump up with gas, and he comes to say, hey, I need your car right now, give me the keys. You're not gonna talk crap, you're not gonna talk mess, just so you can make it home with your loved ones. Unless you just got your pistol right there ready to unload, you're gonna give your keys away because you don't wanna die, you don't want him to blow your head off and him feeling no remorse about it at all. That's just the type of villain he is. And so great job though. I really did like him. He stepped up to the plate when he needed to. But guys, now we have to talk about Mr. Scott Adkins, the main character in this film that is leading all of these characters down this adventure. And I really liked him. Scott Adkins, if you're watching this right now, which I doubt, but I hope you are, but if you are watching this, 2 thumbs up. You continue to impress me every time I see you pop up on screen. I really did enjoy this film. I've seen it twice at this time, and I may see it a third time because I just liked it that much. From the moment that you stepped on screen, I knew that you was gonna be kicking everybody's ass, and you did just that. I don't think there has been a film to where I didn't enjoy your performance, but for me, this one right here is one of the best. I have to scroll down your filmography just to see which one I like more. The relationship that you had with Elisa in this film did make me smile. I was saying, okay, if I am blessed with this type of relationship later on in my life, hopefully we can have the relationship or a part of it that you did with this character in this film. Because again, you did a splendid job. I'm not aware if you did your own stunts in this film at all, but I'm willing to bet that you did, and it was believable. I don't think I saw any doubles or anything of that nature trying to replace you, doing all the kicks and flips, etc. I also like your style of fighting in general. It is a lot of high kicks, and that's just not my preference. I prefer to kick low than high, but at the same time in martial arts, you're supposed to exploit whatever opening your opponent, your enemy provides you. And if somebody leaves their head open and you can kick their head off, I mean, feel free. But it is entertaining to say the least. No wasted movement as well. I really do love that. There was no repeated moves in this film. Like, okay, no, you did that kick in the first act. Now you're doing the exact same thing in the third act. It was fluid. It was crisp. It was nice. It was shot well too. And then all of the sound effects that you're tying into this, the mixing with the sound and the design and all that, and just to complement it and give it that much more of an impact really did hit home for guys like me that live for this type of entertainment, whether you're at home or in a theater. I did watch this at home. I wasn't lucky enough to see it in the theaters. It will be released in theaters, and if you have a chance to see it in theaters, I strongly encourage you to see it in theaters. And whether this is in real life or a film, when it comes to fighting, I don't want characters just to be fighting just for the sake of it to try to entertain the audience. I want there to be a reason. I want them to try to avoid the fight and escape danger. And that's what the character Chris is doing in this film. He's not just saying, oh, okay, yeah, opportunity to kick some ass. It's like, no, he tries to avoid the situation if possible, given one scene or two. And again, that's just something that I do appreciate. He's not selfish at all. He is willing to die for somebody that he loves and will throw his gun away just to save a life. That is very, very commendable. And then back to the action, the way that it is shot. Initially, I wasn't the biggest fan of the camera work or the camera style as soon as the action commenced. It's like as soon as the first punch or kick or attack was thrown, the not aspect ratio, but the frame rate either sped up or slowed down, kind of giving you some dissolved, gritty look. And it was moving around with the actor as they was moving. And I don't want to say it was drawing. It was just like, okay, now they're going into like action mode or something like that. And it just wasn't the smoothest transition for me. After a while, I did get used to it. And then by the end of the film, you know, I was just eating it all up and loved, like, yes, put the camera right there, you know, like you're looking at me right now as I'm punching and jumping towards the screen, but it doesn't break. It's still a long take and the camera goes down and spins around the actor and does it all over again. And it just kind of like repeats itself. I'm not saying that this has never been done before. The director, Ernesto, does have his own signature style when it comes to that. So good job there. But and, you know, initially I didn't like it, but I ended up loving it towards the end of the film. And then by the end of this movie, like seriously, I know this gets says a lot and it's kind of cliche, but I was nervous, like, man, what is gonna happen? Leaning forward somewhat at the edge of my seat because it was a race against time. In this giant factory also being outside, and I cared for this little girl. I wanted her to survive, and I was like, no, if we don't stop this thing right here, she's gonna die. And these people are fighting over here with their weapons, and it's just like, what's gonna happen? It was intense. I loved it, but towards the very end of this movie, the final action scene, the final showdown, they had this long take, this long shot without any breaks. It was this drone shot going across to one side of the factory to the other. And that really did set the tone and just show the whole scale, the whole scope of the scene. It was really intense. It was really impactful. It really did get the adrenaline and blood pumping through your body, or at least that was the case for me. But overall, guys, great film. I barely have any complaints. Those are the things that I liked about the film. Now let me just move over to the small nitpicky things that did bother me in this film. While I did love the action in this movie, there was one scene in the middle, the second act, with the antagonist, with the villain, with the psychopathic killer. He went into some bar and it was just a little bit too over the top for me how he was able to mow down everybody without barely a scratch. Now I understand they're trying to sell him as the big bad, the big villain in the film, the Terminator, the man that is unstoppable. And they did a great job there. However, the execution in this scene could have been pulled off a little bit better, in my opinion, because they made it seem like it was just too easy for him. And I understand the people that he was killing in this scene is a lot of them are just kind of local patrons. They're not just trained assassins. So I'm not expecting like the Foot Clan or something from Ninja Turtles or the Hand from Daredevil to come through and just like wreck shop on this one guy. But I do get irritated when you have a villain or an antagonist, bad guy, whatever, and you see them kill 10 people with ease, like it's just nothing at all. They can just brush it off their shoulders. Why are you still running up one-on-one individually, like with a knife or something like that? I mean, it's not too hard to sit back, even if you're on the second floor, and peek around a corner and empty your magazine and your gun that way. But you just have characters also, not only just knives or bats or stools, but are like running up with guns. And that has to also do with the way that the camera is placed to sell that. Because if you when you're shooting somebody, if you have the camera just focused on them, it's easier to have somebody come off screen and have them tussle that way. So yes, the villain did come through and he was using one person as a human shield, and that's really smart if you don't want people to try to attack you from certain directions. But when you have two stories and people have you surrounded 360 degrees, I just feel like a person or two is going to be able to get a shot off, at least one or two, to take you down. But that just wasn't the case. During this scene, he just seemed too invincible, and that kind of did bug me. One other nitpick is when this same scene, just a few moments later, when Scott Adkins was fighting him one-on-one, it was right after they fell off the second floor to the first and hit the car. When they were fighting on the ground outside that car, it was one kick that the villain threw that he put it, after he threw the high kick, he put his foot back down, and I was like, okay, you can really tell that's choreographed. I mean, all fighting in all movies and television shows are choreographed, but that one instance, it was like blatantly obvious to me, and I like rewound it and watched it again. I'm like, you should have kicked and punched, but it just, that small little thing just like bothered me. And then also, if two people are engaged in a fight and you have another character over here that's just an onlooker, and he has some type of Armalite rifle, some type of assault rifle, some type of automatic weapon, if you're emptying your magazine, it shouldn't be too hard to hit them. Your aim sucks. And given your profession, if you're the leader of this organization, you should be able to shoot a little bit better than that. But guys, those are just little nitpicks, okay? Other than that, this film is fantastic. I really did enjoy it, and I think you will too. If I had to rate this out of a one, I'll go ahead and give my rating for this at the very end. But for now, guys, thank you for tuning in. That's just my opinion. Leave a comment, share the video, and subscribe. But if I had to rate Diablo out of a 1 out of 10, I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. Yes, an 8.5 out of 10. I will give it like a 9 or 9.5, but I'm just taking a little bit of those points away from those small things that I just mentioned. But maybe I'm just nitpicking. Great film, not the best one action army film that I've ever seen, but it's still really good. I recommend it to all, and Scott Adkins, you should really be proud of yourself. So 8.5 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10. But guys, I just want to thank you so much for tuning in. And before you go, don't forget, I'm B. Avery. That's just my opinion. Peace, and I'll see you next time.